Tonight, a man is dead after a double shooting in the city's West End.
It's currently a homicide investigation.
Toronto police are still searching for a suspect after two people were found shot inside a vehicle in the Dufferin and Lawrence area. Plus,
we will have one of the best rollout plans in the country.
Ontario moves ahead with its vaccine distribution plan with a new task force that will decide who gets the first doses. And
I just want people to know that there's a lot of wonderful people out there.
A restaurant owner in Leslieville gets an outpouring of community support after her business was vandalized, and now she's planning to pay it forward. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. A man is dead and a woman is fighting for her life tonight after a double shooting in the Dufferin and Lawrence area. Toronto police are still searching for a suspect and urging witnesses to come forward. Ardalia Ashry has more from the scene.
Police are still here at the scene. They've been here from earlier this afternoon, and the area is closed off with the yellow tape. Now, I spoke to some of the witnesses in the area who tell me this neighborhood is fairly busy, but this afternoon it's been quite different. They didn't want to be on camera, but some of the employees at this bakery behind me tell me that they heard some sounds and they were unsure whether it was gunshots or construction. The shooting happened in the Glencairn Avenue and Dufferin Street area. Police arrived at the scene of the shooting just after 3:30 this afternoon. One man was pronounced dead at the scene. A woman was rushed to hospital in life-threatening condition. Police say both victims were in this truck at the time of the shooting.
I don't think there was anybody else in the truck. They were removed from that truck, and again, paramedics have done their best here.
This is now a homicide investigation, and police say they are now looking for a male suspect.
We've got a male black, possibly dressed in a gray tracksuit that fled the area eastbound on Glen Park in a gray hatchback.
Police are asking anyone with information or dash cam footage to come forward. Dalia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
Firefighters rescued a woman and a child from a house fire in Brampton tonight, but both suffered significant injuries. The two-alarm fire broke out in a house on Nevada Court near Brovert Drive East and Naismith Street at around 7:50. Investigators believe the fire began in the basement where the woman and child were trapped. Peel police say firefighters had to battle the flames to reach them. They were both rushed to hospital. The woman suffered life-threatening injuries. The boy, believed to be about 5 years old, was also seriously injured. Both are listed in stable condition in hospital. We don't yet know the cause of the fire. Roads have been closed in that area. Well, for a second day in a row, Toronto has shattered its daily record for new COVID-19 cases. The city reporting 727 new infections today. And that's more than 40% of all new cases in Ontario. The province saw just over 1,700 new infections today, including 373 in Peel region and 169 in York region. And a fourth potential COVID-19 vaccine candidate is now waiting for approval from Health Canada. This one is made by Johnson & Johnson. Meanwhile, we're learning more today about Ontario's vaccine rollout plan, including who will be first in line when the first doses arrive. Lorena Redekop has more.
Officials toured a medical warehouse in Brampton. It could be used for vaccine distribution.
We will deliver them as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
She says those most at risk and their healthcare providers will be among the first to receive a vaccine, though other priority groups are still being worked out.
We will have that ready in very short order because we don't have a lot of time for this, and we want to make sure that we're going to be ready to go as soon as those vaccines land in Ontario.
The health minister says they're launching another task force to help determine the exact order for who will get the vaccine and when. It'll include a bioethicist. The Prime Minister says the order is something his government is working on.
We have a panel of top experts and scientists looking in directly to these challenging ethical and societal questions of who gets the vaccine's access first. We should all agree across the country on what that list looks like and make sure that it is applied fairly right across the country.
Ontario's health minister named 7 different vaccine manufacturers the province started talking to. The federal government has deals with them. 4 have applied to Health Canada for approval.
Pending regulatory approval, vaccine doses will begin arriving in the new year.
The federal Minister of Public Services and Procurement defended her government. It's been criticized for not having a clear vaccine plan. Today, the federal government said it's already bought special fridges required for some of the vaccines.
We can store 33.5 million frozen and ultra frozen doses of vaccine. Right now, we have a sufficient supply of syringes, needles, gauze, swabs to accommodate 25 million doses of an administered vaccine.
Ontario officials still want more answers.
We are taking the Prime Minister at his word that we will have the vaccines very early in January, but we will be seeking further clarification.
The premiers are set to meet with the Prime Minister about the vaccine rollout plan on December 10th. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Crucial evidence was heard today at the trial of the man responsible for the Yonge Street van attack. The defense team's key witness explained to the court why he believes Alec Minassian's autism was so severe it could render him not criminally responsible for the attack that killed 10 people and injured 16 others. Trevor Dunn reports.
For the victims and their families, there's nothing abstract about the attack. For the people who watched it happen, the trauma is very real. But how connected to reality was Alec Minassian in April 2018? Today, testimony painting a picture of a man lost in his own mind. Psychiatrist Alexander Westphal testified that in his conversations with Minassian about the attack, there was no emotion whatsoever, no regret, no remorse. It's as abstract as killing people in a video game, Westphal testified. It's such a horrific concept, but that really is how I feel he was thinking about this. He still doesn't have any emotional connection with what he did. To illustrate this, the court saw video of interviews Westphal did with Minassian after the attack. Describing his deadly drive, Minassian talks about hitting his victims in batches. After I hit the first batch, I thought, did I just do that? I saw another line of people. I hit them all in a line. Westphal describes it as cold, clinical language.
Come on, get down! Get down!
When asked about the end of his rampage, Westphal said Minassian once again sounds like he's describing a video game. I felt a complete sense of defeat, Minassian says in the video. I was captured. In Westphal's expert opinion, severe forms of autism can impact someone as much as psychosis, the mental disorder many NCR findings are based on. Autism alters the perception and understanding of the world enough to be something that is really important when you're discussing culpability. Quoting from his report on Minassian, Westphal testified there is support in the literature that autistic ways of thinking may distort reality as substantially as psychotic ways of thinking. But the court also heard earlier in the trial that autism does not cause people to commit acts of violence, let alone mass murder. And if Justice Anne Malloy found Minassian NCR due to his autism, that would be a first in Canadian law. Trevor Dunn, CBC News, Toronto.
York police releasing new video tonight of 2 suspects wanted in an armed robbery of a convenience store. The security camera video shows 2 masked men entering the store in the Yonge and 16th Avenue area on November 3rd. One man pulls out a handgun. Both suspects then make their way towards a clerk and demand cash. This employee hands them a number of bills before the men flee. Now, fortunately, the clerk was not hurt. York police are asking anyone with information to contact them. Well, as we mentioned on yesterday's show, today is Giving Tuesday, a global campaign that began 8 years ago to encourage people to donate their time or money to worthy causes. And if you're on the stem cell registry, you may have gotten a call from Canadian Blood Services. They use the day to encourage those who may be a bit hesitant about giving blood to roll up their sleeves. Nazima Walji has this story.
3 daughters.
Like most busy mothers, 29-year-old Jameek Rose runs out of energy. But recovering is harder for the mother of 3 who was diagnosed with leukemia in 2016.
I had more complications this time around with this round of chemo. I guess my body's a bit weaker.
Rose is in need of a stem cell donor.
Out of the millions around the world, there was not one person who was able to match me.
And only about 50% who sign up follow through with their commitment.
Part of the challenge we have is that you might sign up to the stem cell registry today, but it might be months or years before you actually get the call that you are a match to a patient.
For diverse Canadians, it's even harder to find a match.
One of the challenges when you actually are looking for a stem cell transplant is that you actually are much more likely to find a match with somebody of the same racial background as you. It's really like building a registry, like I said, that's reflective of the diversity that we actually see in our Canadian patients. And so we know that we need more Black donors, more Indigenous donors, more mixed race donors.
Canadian Blood Services is trying to recruit new donors.
Go online to request a swabbing kit. We send you the kit right to your home. It's very easy to join. You just swab the inside of your mouth with something like a Q-tip and send it back to us.
I technically found a donor. It's going to be my mom. She's a half donor.
Rose is relying on her mother in the event she doesn't find a perfect match.
There's so many of us who could literally save a life, but they're not doing it because they may not know. Technology, they're able to just do it from right here within a couple hours, and you could literally save a life.
Her hope is that more people get on the list and commit to being on it. Nazima Walji, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, it's tough being a restaurant owner right now. And for the owner of Land Restaurant in Leslieville, it was made even harder when her business and car were recently vandalized. But this setback quickly prompted an outpouring of support from the community. And as Talia Ricci reports, the owner is planning to pay it forward.
It was an emotional feeling at that point because we don't know what went wrong, right? Like, we did our best trying to survive.
Lan Nguyen took to Facebook to express her frustration after her car and restaurant windows were smashed last week. Then she logged off for a while.
I just hear my phone keep ringing like at the restaurant, and I was just telling my husband, that is so strange. Like, all the customers know that we are now no longer open for lunch.
It was the support pouring in the form of orders, positive reviews, flowers and chocolates for her kids, and even an offer from an East End pet store to cover the cost to fix it.
Just send us the bill, we cover everything, and no string attached.
Neighboring businesses texted and visited, letting her know they had her back.
Just let them know that we're there for them, and of course to help them out by buying food because they have the best Vietnamese food in the city.
But Lan says she doesn't even want to use the money to fix her window, instead vowing to spend it on holiday shopping at small local businesses and to help others in need.
I'm going to go to 5 wonderful local places who are struggling during the pandemic, and also a local shop. This is a way I'm supporting the community.
And it wasn't just Leslieville. She said it was a whole East End effort.
This is the best way we show our East End love when someone has trouble, and the outpouring for support for her and her family and her business was really amazing.
They never been to the restaurant.
It was clear that to Lan, some of the best moments that came from this experience didn't even involve money at all.
This is a heart, somebody drew it for me, and then they just sending out a message, keep staying positive no matter what happened. What can I say? Just thank you. I don't think it's even enough word to say to the community. And I just want people to know that there's a lot of wonderful people out there.
Lan hopes that this story encourages others to shop local and to spread love. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
You get a bit of an ice cream headache, brain freeze at first, but once you kind of get moving, it's great.
There may be snow on the ground, but it didn't stop these swimmers from taking an icy cold dip today. We'll tell you why they're taking the plunge coming up. Plus,
some additional snow coming, and of course those winds blowing it around and enhancing things. I'm meteorologist Colette Kennedy. We are going to clear this system. I'm going to give you the timing on that and the sunshine to come. That's all coming up.
CBC Sounds of the Season kicks off today. It's our annual fundraiser to support local food banks. This year, the need for donations is greater than ever due to the pandemic. New findings from Feed Ontario's Hunger Report and the Daily Bread Food Bank reveal the amount of people visiting them in the past year has more than doubled, with food insecurity and concerns over evictions forcing a growing number of people to choose between meals and a roof over their heads.
You know, just in terms of context, this past month, November, we saw 110,000 client visits. By comparison, last year our highest month was in the high 60s. So while we don't want to be in 65 or 70,000 client visits in a monthly basis, that on its own is wrong. Getting to the point of 110,000 is it's a situation which we never would expect to have been in.
As we mentioned, today is the start of CBC Sounds of the Season. Normally, we'd hold an open house for a day of live music and programming, but due to COVID-19 restrictions, it's not possible this year. But that doesn't mean the work stops. CBC is still bringing everyone together virtually to support local food banks throughout the month of December. You can find out how to donate at cbc.ca/SOTS. December making its arrival today with snow and a messy commute.
Well, it was pretty bad. I mean, because snow all over. This is for the first time, I mean, in December 1st, and it was snow.
Take your time and I'll get where I'm going.
It's the season, it's winter season. There's nothing we can do, absolutely nothing you can do. It's just to make your life happy.
Drivers were extra cautious as the accumulated snow created some pretty slippery roads. And pretty chilly out there tonight with some light snow on and off through the night. Let's go to our meteorologist Colette Kennedy now. Colette, just like the man we just heard, 'tis the season, snow in December. We should probably start getting used to this.
Thanks, Kelda. Well, okay, it is the first day of December, but not only that, this is the beginning of meteorological winter as well. So it kind of makes sense that we have the sort of wintry weather to go along with that. Still some light snow tonight. It's not light everywhere for the city. It's just sort of these waves of some light snow that'll be tapering off as we go towards tomorrow morning, some flurries. And then we really do get into some clearing on Wednesday, so we'll actually get some sunshine coming back in here and things calming down, except for the winds. So the winds still gusty tonight. Closer to the lakes, we get some enhancement there too, and we're still going to have some winds, although they'll shift direction a little bit, less from the northwest, a little more westerly by tomorrow. But know that there's going to be a wind chill factor tomorrow morning as well to be thinking about, so it's going to feel cooler than what's on the thermometer. So we're still talking about some of our winter storm warnings and snowfall warnings and special weather statements. These amounts coming down now. This is just really what's left additionally, and this is probably going to be more like an additional 15 centimeters now at this point. In the areas where we're in the snowfall warnings, we're looking at still potentially 10 to maybe 15 centimeters, closer to 10, I would expect, and on the lesser amount now, just because of what's to come. We've got the night to get through and part of tomorrow morning, and then things will be easing up a little bit for the city, another couple of centimeters, and that would be about it. You could kind of see the spin when I put this in motion, that counterclockwise spin around that area of low pressure. It's been blocked by high pressure off towards the east, but the timeline with this is that by tomorrow we start to see things moving out. There could be some early morning lake effect back here towards the London area, and then really the trend is just it pulls right on out of Ontario. And into Thursday, we may start off early in the GTA with sun, but then look at how those clouds are going to be pushing in, and so we'll likely see it becoming overcast on Thursday. So enjoy the sunshine that we do get tomorrow and early Thursday. So additional snowfall potential. This particular model only wants to give a few more centimeters because it is, again, kind of waves that we're seeing. Not so much waves with the winds. Those are a little more consistent. So it's the gusts 40 to 60 kilometers an hour, but sustained winds right around 30 in most cases. Your wind chill tomorrow morning for southwestern Ontario, that's going to be significant. And then tomorrow afternoon, look at the sunshine here. So this will be quite nice. Winds will get you up to 4 degrees. For the Golden Horseshoe, again, we're going to see this finally moving out. May take a little bit longer for Oshawa, but you're going to clear out there as well. And then we get the clouds rolling in. So the temperature on Thursday still 4 degrees. And as we go towards Friday, some flurries coming back into the forecast, Kelda.
It's December after all. Thanks so much, Colette.
The weather is brought to you by Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. We test, so it runs. It's hard to stop a train.
When your local pool is closed because of COVID-19 restrictions, how do you get in your swim time? Well, for a group of former competitive swimmers, it's no problem. They just head down to Cherry Beach. Greg Ross caught up with them today.
They slowly ease their way into the icy waters of Lake Ontario early this afternoon.
Feeling pretty cold.
And that cold water can take a few minutes to get used to.
Okay.
It's numb.
Your hands, feet, or face?
Just my face, my head. Still got a brain freeze. You get a bit of an ice cream headache, brain freeze at first, but once you kind of get moving, it's great.
Shall we go?
They swam just off the shore of Cherry Beach for about a half an hour. For this group of former competitive swimmers, all between the ages of 40 and 65, it may be cold, but it's just about the only way to get in a workout with pools closed because of COVID-19 restrictions.
I can't explain it. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some kind of change that happens in moods for all of us when we get out.
It is a huge sense of
joy that I get out of this, both because of the camaraderie with the other swimmers and the exhilaration of just being in that cold water.
They started swimming here back in the summer, but as the temperature started to drop, their desire to be in the water didn't.
We all swam during the summer, and then we just kept saying, oh, you know, it's still okay, why don't we swim next week too, and next week.
You okay?
Little did they know they'd still be coming here in December. Of course, they need much more than just a typical bathing suit to go for a dip in these waters.
I've got my booties on, keep the feet warm, my wetsuit, which is a full triathlon wetsuit. These mitts are very good. And then my headgear with my hoodie, and then underneath it I have a swimming cap as well.
Today's swim was by far the coldest yet.
1 Celsius, yeah.
I can't speak, I'm frozen.
And that means it's probably time to take a break.
I figure we'll be out for January, February, but we'll be back in the water in March. That's my goal.
But they say nothing is set in stone.
Well, how hard is it going to be to get through this winter if you don't have this?
Good question. I don't know. That's why I'm saying it may be the last day. It probably is, yeah.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Good for them. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can get caught up on our website anytime. Just head to cbc.ca/Toronto. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.